how they drain. All right, now I'm going to make the incision along the abdomen here, you guys, so if you're a bit squeamish. Okay, go through the peritoneal cavity here, through the abdominal muscle groups. There we go. Perfect. No decomposition at all. Starting to get some of the body fluids coming out. We'll hang it from the tree and see if we can't get it to drain. That one's draining. We'll get started on the other one so that they'll be ready at about the same time. Whether you're intentionally trying to mummify an animal or if you're just planning to embalm it, you really need to get started right away. The intestines are where decomposition begins. From the stomach area and the intestines, once the bacteria have begun, they spread up to the chest area, down into the hip region, and finally out through all the muscles and the rest of the body systems, producing gases within that animal itself. So it looks like we've got them pretty well opened up.
Though Hamrick died in 1899, his mummies lived on. But they didn't stay put in Philippi. They went on the road for several years, becoming circus attractions. After their return to West Virginia, they made special appearances at the Philippi Street Fair and Barber County Fair all the way up to the 1960s. They were then bought by a local Philippi resident, one Frank Bigfoot Buyer, and disappeared for the next 20 years until the Great Flood of 1985.
It really damaged them. They were soaked for 4 days, and that's when they lost their hair.
The mummies were restored and put on display at the Barber County Museum. After 2 decades, the gals have finally taken another road trip. We're driving them up to the Broadus County Hospital for a CAT or CT scan. This advanced form of X-ray technology can give us finer details on the bones and any soft tissue remaining inside. Hopefully, we can find out how these women died and also pick up more about Hamrick's mummification process.
Are we ready?
Scan away. Our technologist, Cindy Britton, is more familiar with the living.
So is this the first mummy you've done a CT on?
We're going to do abdomen through pelvis, all in one go now, all right? One tissue's there, collapsed, but it's there.
And that is residual lung tissue.
Right here.
Wow.
It's white, real dense white in the area.
This is a real surprise. Remnants of organs are showing up on the CT scan.
Yeah, there's a bit of brain left.
Yeah, it's all toward the back, see?
What's left of the brain? There's some brain remnants in there, but we can see it here on the screen. This is what's left of the brain. So he probably had these individuals on their back during this mummification process, so the brain collapses to that back or posterior part of the skull. And that's the beauty of the CT. It's showing us that there are organs in there that we really can't pick up on the regular X-ray.
So the first mummy follows Hamrick's recipe. Let's see about the second.
We're ready.
Yeah, more brain tissue than this short mummy, but not much in there. Jerry and I probably agree that I think he kept those organs in, as he described in his procedure, made the incision, sloshed some of the solution around, and then smoked them.
And smoked them.
Well, with the sulfur. Okay. Hamrick actually kept the organs inside, which is pretty amazing. Some of the earlier techniques around that time involved taking the organs out, even packing the abdomen with sawdust and charcoal. So he decided to find a way to keep the organs intact. I'll be, quite frankly, pretty surprised if we have get all of this stuff well preserved. This is the magic stuff. Okay, the mummy juice is going to work. And now the final step. Ignite more sulfur and smoke the animals inside the box. Hamrick used his solution in sulfur smoke to preserve corpses. The Egyptians dehydrated and preserved their mummies to be by packing them in a salt mixture. Two very different processes, but both took somewhere around 40 days. With animals this small, it shouldn't take quite that long. All right. They're cooking, so to speak. The sulfur has ignited, and the fumes are spreading out, filling the box. We'll repeat the process a couple of times, and we should have a couple of mummies, yeah.
Taking another look at the CT scan, this time on a light box, we can see more than just organs. There are also clues to what may have caused the death of one of the mummies.
There's this little high-density area here in the left chest, and it's flared out nicely. Jerry, show them where it is over there on the slices.
It's very bright, meaning that it's very dense. If it's dense, the X-ray can't pass through it as easily, and it comes out white or bright on the film.
Could mean that there's residual evidence of some old disease pattern or disease process there in the lungs. Apparently tuberculosis was quite evident there at the asylum, and it wouldn't be unusual to find calcifications around tuberculin areas of the lungs.
A look at the X-rays we took back at the museum can give us an idea of how old these mummies were when they died.
The ends of the bones are fused, so this person is over 21, 22 years of age. I would a rough guess, probably like 30 to 40 years. Yeah, there may be some arthritic changes in the lower back. Let's head back to the museum. Do you have anything else?
Meet Art Digman. This longtime West Virginian doesn't need an X-ray to tell how old these women were.
If I had my pendulum here, I could tell you exactly how old she was.
Did you have your what here?
A pendulum.
Your pendulum?
Yeah, if I had it with me, I could tell you exactly how old she was.
How do you do that with pendulum?
Ask the questions.
And it tells you?
It'll give me an answer, yes.
You don't have it with you, though?
No, let's see. Do I have anything here that we could use for a pendulum?
Jerry rigged a makeshift pendulum with his pocket knife. Where do you need a pendulum? Over their head?
Or no, just
the
right
feet?
There. 15, 20, 21, 22 years.
22 years?
Yeah, this one was 22 years old when she died.
So when the pendulum pulls your legs to that degree?
What it does, it pulls these muscles in my legs, but then I got to have this going in a counterclockwise direction. If it goes in a clockwise direction, then it's a no answer.
Well, let's check the age of the other one.
She's 31, 32, 33 years.
We had gauged around between 30 and 40 years old. 30. So 33.
Yeah. This lady here.
Art Digman may have his pendulum and his special powers, but I've got Hamrick's recipe. Now let's see how they're doing. Okay, he's feeling a little stiff up here, a bit like a mummy. This is promising. He's looking fairly well preserved. The intestines are nice and soft. The smell is not bad at all now that we've cleared out the sulfur fumes from the box. It's not showing, nor is it smelling like any signs of decomposition. Now we'll just flip them over and drain them out. Quite a bit of fluid is coming out of them. This should just be gravity fed. That's good. All right, now roll them back over. We'll fill them back up. Give them another dose of the sulfur. We'll seal them in. We'll come back and check on them after a little while and see how far we've come. Look at that, very soft, not stiff as you would expect by this time. Hamrick was not a quack. These animals are preserved. It's pretty amazing. They're soft, they're pliable. You would think they would get up and run around. I'm sold. If Hamrick were here today, I'd probably buy stock in his company. We'd like to have known you, Grant. Probably had some kind of an excitement for life, you know? Yeah. Wanting to do things differently. You know, it's too bad we really don't know too much about him, outside of his passion for preserving things. Legend has it he left behind a bottle of his own formula so his relatives could mummify him. But they ignored his request, and he's buried in Philippi.
So why didn't they use it?
Well, they must have chickened out. It was in his will. I guess they thought it was a little bit too far out. Well, I mean, 77 years, that's pretty good for 1899.
And 23 days. We're left with a lot of questions. It's amazing. We know more about preserving Egyptian mummies and that method that was done 4,000 years ago. Here we are today trying to figure out what he was doing 100 years ago. It's not that long ago.
Well, that's because we're really stupid.
What was probably a sad existence up until the time that Mr. Hamrick purchased the bodies. Now it seems that these two individuals have brought some fame to the town of Philippi, and they're actually contributing to science. So in some way, they're gaining a level of respect that they probably never had.
Thanks for working with us.